to you, Cam.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. You know, we've all heard of postnatal depression in new mums, but I'm just finding out the condition can affect new dads as well. And here with some advice on beating the baby blues fatherhood style is fatherhood expert Troy Jones. G'day, Troy. Good to see you, mate. I'm very pleased to see you.
You're almost in the club, mate. Just a little bit further to go.
Just probably 2 weeks away, but who knows exactly. Got the phone on all the time, is reaching that nervous stage. But just thinking about this today, I realised that I've kind of blocked it out a little bit because I'm always feeling Tash's tummy. You can feel feet and arms and elbows and things. But even so, even though it is that real, it's still somehow not quite real.
But the average Australian bloke is what I call the king of denial. You know, they have this space in between their ears which is absolutely blank, other than the footy and the swine flu. Yeah. And you do just about anything to keep it as blank as possible. And the biggest change that you go through as a bloke, pretty much, is having a baby. So one thing that's not often talked about is how Australian blokes don't talk about things. And one of the big problems that us in the Dads Club find is that the first time you really actively think about having a baby is when the baby lands on the table in the hospital suite.
Suddenly, there it is.
I'll think, you know, for the whole time you've been thinking, I'll wait till the baby gets here before I start thinking about it. Here's the baby. Oh, man, I really haven't thought about this at all yet. So one little known fact, for example, is that about 5%, 1 in 20 men get postnatal depression.
Okay, so, mate...
Isn't that unbelievable? And
I think I'm getting prenatal depression with all the advice that you get.
The best thing I've found is basically to try to picture the fact that a baby is coming. We surveyed a lot of dads around the country, and the #1 reaction when the baby arrives is surprise. Everyone talks about joy and happiness, but surprise, seeing a little person come out of a big one.
There is a tendency to focus on getting ready for the event. Like, I think we're going through a bit of a nesting stage where painting the room, you know, obviously buying cots and strollers and things like that. But we've gone through the whole thing of we're avoiding the gender issue. We don't know about that, but we've chosen names, of course. We've looked at we've gone to all the doctors' experiences together. We've seen all the scans together. So we know it's happening, and it's very real for Tash, of course, but I am a little bit worried about what you actually do when you bring that little bundle of joy home.
We made 2 films, and I suppose that's how we started off, Being Dad, and that's about pregnancy and birth, and Being Dad 2, which is about bringing the baby home. And we followed this one poor bloke, who's one of my mates, called Craig, and we followed him out of the hospital and walking into the home and drive home, and you're in for some shocking moments, like brilliantly hilarious to watch, but the drive from the hospital to your home when you're driving, you've never wanted a bigger baby on board sign in your life because you're driving at 30 kilometres an hour with the indicators on and nobody touch me please. And the classic universal version, we've done it in the US and the UK, and it's the same as when you bring the baby into the house. Man, what do we do now? Because not either you or the missus has thought about it at all.
Well, where can we go for help? It's good to have you in here, mate. I'll take your phone number at the end of the show, but is there a blokes network for this sort of thing?
Mate, there's not. I mean, we made the film. It's called Being Dad. I know I'm flogging my thing, but if you get Being Dad and watch it, it's pretty much your only shot. The other advice is try and find some blokes, which is what our films do, sit and have a beer or something if you can get a leave pass for an hour or 2, and just have a chat about what actually happens. And that's like our DVD is, we talk it in regular bloke terms rather than, oh, well, you know, epidurals and blah, blah, blah. Say, you know, let's talk about the size of the needle you're about to see, or if someone says, you know, episiotomy or scissors appear, mate, look the other way. So just talk to some fellas or watch Being Dad.
Mate, what about the lack of sleep leading up to the birth?
So you see all of a sudden we're leaning in and talking quietly. Yeah. That's awesome.
And they just won't relax. They can't turn over. They get up 4 or 5 times a night.
Mate, watch out.
Everyone asks about how she is.
Yeah. You don't get to turn at the gas either in the hospital. That's the big trick.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. There's no gas outlet for you. But if you... the one thing, my big advice is get involved early when the baby comes home. She doesn't know much more than you do. You're sort of wanting to stand back and slowly unpack the car bit by bit.
Mate, you and I are going to have to continue this ourselves. We are running out of time.
Done.
But back to you, Lisa. This is a whole stream of bad news coming through here tonight.
What's cute is you think there's a lack of sleep leading up to the birth. Oh, boy, you've got a lot to learn. Take notes, Cam. There's a lot ahead for you.
Open Universities Australia Study Period 1 enrolments close February 12. Open your mind.
All right, let's get some gossip. Richard Reid, he can stand up, he can talk, and he has plenty going on. Richard, let's start with Charlie Sheen. Boy, plenty of dramas for him. His wife's in rehab now, huh?
Right. Can you believe this? Another day, another drama. I am telling you. Well, you know, Brooke Mueller, Charlie's estranged wife, last when we caught up with her, she was in hospital with pneumonia. But no sooner did she check out of Cedars-Sinai Hospital to the Stars here in Hollywood than she got on a plane and went to a rehab center in North Carolina. Now, it said she'll probably be there 6.5 weeks to undergo treatment of alcohol and drug addiction. So, obviously, Brooke is not exactly the saint she's portrayed herself to be.
Well, meanwhile, Charlie's ex, Denise Richards, isn't keeping it classy by the sounds of things. She spilled it all to Oprah.
I'm telling you, well, you know, I was really surprised that Denise had not spoken to Now. But she did go on Oprah. She said on Christmas Day, she got a collect call from jail from Charlie wanting to talk to the kids. But then Oprah really stuck it to her and listened to what she had to say.
Had he been abusive to you?
At times, yes. There were times during the marriage where, you know, there was a lot of verbal abuse. He never hit me. It was a lot of verbal arguments, got extremely heated. That scared me.
He never hit you?
He never hit me.
Yeah, well, you know, it was good of